June 6. 356 B.C. Birthday of Alexander the Great, on the 6th day of Lus Hecatomben during the Olympic Games, in the first year of the 106th Olympiad, at Pella. This joyful deliverance was notified to Philip at the falling of Batida, and 2 other messengers reached his camp on the same day, announcing that his race horse had gained the prize at the games, and that Parmenio his captain had defeated the Illyrians. It was on the night of this very day that the celebrated temple of Diana was burned to the ground by Eratosstratus, an Ephesian youth who fondly panted for an infamous reputation. 1210, King John landed in Ireland, and received the homage of 20 native princes. 1439, the Act of Union between the Greek and Latin churches took place in the Cathedral of Florence, where the contracting parties met, at the instigation of John Palaiologos, but was sundered by the Act of Russia. 1481, Battista Frescobaldi and others engaged in a conspiracy to assassinate Lorenzo de' Medici, executed at Florence. 1487, Battle of Stoke, the Earl of Lincoln defeated and slain by the King Henry VII. 1527, Pope Clement VII surrendered the castle of St. Angelo, and gave up himself a prisoner to the imperialists, under Philibert de Chalons, Prince of Orange, who succeeded the Duke of Bourbon. 1533, Ludovico Ariosto, the Italian poet, died. His Orlando Furioso procured him the laurel crown at Rome, which was placed upon his brow by the Emperor Charles V. 1577, on Corpus Christi's Eve, the usual celebration greatly aggrieved the Perth Weekly Assembly, the play being judged idolatrous. 1597, William Huneys, one of the contributors to the metrical theology of the times of Edward VI, died. Edward himself was no mean writer. Huneys versified the whole book of Genesis, calling it a hive full of honey. 1650, Anthony Ascham, a friend of Cromwell, and member of the Long Parliament, assassinated. He was at the time envoy to Spain, and the deed was perpetrated by 6 exiled royalists there. 1660, Charles II issued a proclamation for the regicides to surrender, that they might not be accepted from the general pardon. 19 availed themselves of the proclamation, but 19 others, doubting the sincerity of the government, disobeyed the summons. 1693, Drive Pitcairn published at Leiden his dissertation on the circulation of the blood through the veins. 1710, Louise Françoise Vallière, wife of the Duke of Orleans, and mistress of Louis XIV, died. She spent the last 35 years of her life in a cloister in acts of piety and devotion. 1745, a body of Chilean peasants, at Landshut, 2,000 in number, sought permission of the king, Frederick II, to massacre the Roman Catholics, to allow the barbarous demand. 1749, conspiracy of the Turkish slaves at Malta to exterminate the Order of Knights. 1761, British under Lord Rolla took Dominica. 1762, George Anson, the circumnavigator, died, aged 62. His life was spent upon the ocean, and he rendered important services to his country, for which he was rewarded. 1780, riots in London continued, occasioned by the Property Act. The rioters liberated the prisoners confined in the prisons, and totally destroyed Newgate by fire. 1794, Pointe-à-Pitre, Guadeloupe, stormed by the French. 1799, Patrick Henry, an eminent Virginian patriot, orator and statesman, died, aged 63. He was chosen the first governor of Virginia, on the abdication of Lord Dunmore. 1800, Sir Edward Pelew's squadron landed and destroyed the forts at Morbihan, in France, blew up the magazines, destroyed the guns, took 100 prisoners, 2 brigs of 18 guns, 2 sloops and 2 gun vessels. 1807, Battle of Dieppe, in which the French cut to pieces a body of Russians. 1807, Battle of Eylau, between the French and Russians. 30,000 of the latter were killed. 1808, Spanish junta declared war against Bonaparte. Same day he issued a decree at Bayonne, declaring his brother Joseph king of Spain and the Indies. 1832, riots commenced in Paris between the Carlists and Republicans United, and the National Guards. The rioters were finally overpowered, after several days' resistance and great slaughter. 1832, Jeremy Bentham, a celebrated English jurist, died, aged 85. He was a man of great learning and eccentricity, and devoted his long life to laborious study. 1853, the Italian ecclesiastic Gavazzi lectured at Quebec, and gave rise to a riot. 1854, John Speed Smith, a highly intelligent and cultivated Kentucky gentleman, died. He was repeatedly a member of the Kentucky legislature, and served 2 years in Congress. 1855, the bombardment of Sebastopol was reopened with 157 guns and mortars on the part of the British, and above 300 on the part of the French.